All right, y'all. Jared Wright reporting in Louisville, Kentucky. Today is going to be the last round of licenses being drawn by a lottery for the Kentucky Medical Cannabis Program. We're going to go ahead and live stream that. We did live stream the first round of processors and growers. Since then, the second round was the overarching dispensaries. Now it's just the last two regions, Fayette and Jefferson. There's been a lot of people that have been not happy with the lottery system so far. A lot of people asking questions and not getting answers. Joe Sonka from LPM's done an article, fantastic. John Charlton from WHAS, as well as Elijah Rosenberg from Bluegrass Canna Podcast. Just a lot of people that's not sure what's going on. But last round, we're going to go ahead and tap in, check out what's going on. Give me a second to get this set up.
We're everybody good? All right, good afternoon, everyone. Since taking office, my administration has been committed to providing access to health care and creating safer communities for all Kentuckians. It has been a priority to ensure those among us that have serious health conditions like cancer or PTSD, that they have access to safe and affordable medical cannabis, and that they are able to access it as soon as possible. For that reason, 2 years ago, I signed an executive order protecting Kentuckians with those medical conditions from fear of prosecution. Then last year, I signed Senate Bill 47 into law, which legalizes medical cannabis in the Commonwealth beginning January 1, really just a couple weeks away. All the medical cannabis in our program will be cultivated, processed, tested, and dispensed by licensed businesses right here in Kentucky. Our system's been set up with two goals. First, to ensure patients get access quickly, that we don't get caught up in court, that those who are suffering are able to secure medical cannabis in the Commonwealth as soon as possible. And second, that the system operates safely. Over the past few weeks, the Office of Medical Cannabis, in partnership with the folks at the Kentucky Lottery Corporation, held the first two licensed lotteries for medical cannabis cultivators, processors, and most dispensaries. 62 selectees were drawn, and they're now licensed. Today, we hold our third licensed lottery, this time for cannabis dispensaries in Regions 1 and 2. There will be a total of 12 dispensaries selected today. Each region will have 4 selectees drawn from the counties surrounding, but not including Jefferson and Fayette. Because Jefferson and Fayette are our largest counties, there will be two additional selectees that are drawn for just those counties. So 2 each inside of Jefferson and Fayette, and then 4 for each of these regions surrounding those counties. This is a major step forward to ensuring that Kentuckians that are out there that are suffering have access to safe and affordable treatment. First, we'll hear a few words from the Office of Medical Cannabis Executive Director Sam Flynn about the licensing process and the lottery. And then we're going to get to the selection and announce them here today. This has been a long process from when we were first pushing this to now, but proud of the work that the folks in the Office of Medical Cannabis have done, proud of the work that the Kentucky Lottery has done. I'll offer a few more thoughts on that when we announce the winners, but for now, I'll turn it over to Sam.
Thanks, sir. As the governor mentioned, my name is Sam Flynn. I'm Executive Director for Kentucky's Office of Medical Cannabis. Today we're here at the Kentucky Lottery Corporation in Louisville, Kentucky, where in a few moments we will conduct Kentucky's Medical Cannabis License Lottery for dispensary applicants in dispensary licensing regions 1 and 2. I want to take a moment to thank the governor for his support and leadership in helping us build this Kentucky medical cannabis program. I also want to thank the governor and our partners in the General Assembly who worked to change the law and move up the time frame so that we can start selecting medical cannabis businesses this year in 2024 rather than in 2025 as we would have done under prior law. As the governor mentioned, before we begin the lottery process, I want to provide some background on today's process and the structure. Because our program is rooted in patient access, it is critical that our medical cannabis business licensing framework ensures that this new industry is stable and sustainable, with an emphasis on small business and provides product growth to meet cardholder demand. For this reason, our initial licensing availability for each business category was 10 Tier 1 cultivator licenses, 4 Tier 2 cultivator licenses, 2 Tier 3 cultivator licenses, and 10 for processors, and 48 for dispensaries. Over the past several weeks, we held 2 license lotteries, as the governor mentioned, and we selected 26 cultivators and processors and 36 dispensary licenses through that process. In developing our lottery process, we considered the best practices used in other states and determined this was the most fair and transparent way to build this new exciting industry in the Commonwealth. It should be noted that other states are also adopting this approach. To conduct the lottery, we partnered with the Kentucky Lottery Corporation, an independent third party with undeniable and unmatched experience with random drawing processes. To become eligible for today's lottery, prospective businesses were required to apply to the Office of Medical Cannabis. That application required those applicants to submit documentation and information showing that they are serious about being a responsible medical cannabis licensee in Kentucky. The information and documentation applicants were required to provide included a business history, operation plans, ownership information, business location and site plans, and financial information. Applicants were notified of any deficiencies in their applications and were given one opportunity to cure. If an application was complete and had no deficiencies, they were approved. If the application was deficient, it was denied. Some other applications were denied due to failure to pay, applying in multiple categories, or for other violations of our licensing rules. In total, 4,075 applications were submitted for dispensary licenses. 1,235, or about 40% of that total, were submitted for the 12 licenses in the 2 regions and which we will be drawing for today. Of those, 1,001, or 81% of the applications, were approved to be in today's lottery. 234, or 19% of the applications, were denied. I'll give you a breakdown of those numbers. In the Bluegrass region, that's Region 1, 293 applications were received. 276 are in today's lottery. 17 were denied, and that is excluding Fayette County. In Fayette County itself, 315 applications, 241 are in, 74 were denied. In the Kentuckiana region, that's Region 2, excluding Jefferson County, 143 applications, 129 are in, 14 were denied. For Jefferson County, 484 applications, 355 are in, 129 were denied. I'll note that only 212 of the 1,235 applications were initially correct and did not need to be cured, meaning 789 applicants received their deficiency notifications and were able to correct those deficiencies. Because the number of eligible applicants exceeds the number of licenses available, we will be holding lotteries in each of those 2 regions and for Jefferson and Fayette counties, as the governor mentioned. I want to congratulate those applicants who were notified of their eligibility for today's lotteries. As we noted, this is the most fair and transparent way of selecting those applicants who were able to submit complete applications and followed our rules. Now to the lotteries today. In a moment, the Office of Medical Cannabis will begin the process of conducting each lottery for the 2 dispensary licensing regions and 2 counties being drawn today. To do so, the office will provide an identified CSV and a hard copy file of the eligible applicants for each category to a representative from the Office of Legal Services for the Cabinet for Health and Family Services. Those files contain the name of the applicant, its county and city location, and a unique numerical identifier. The Office of Legal Services will then provide a de-identified version of the CSV and hard copy file to Rachel Herod, Manager of Security for the Kentucky Lottery Corporation. The file is de-identified for security purposes. The de-identified version of the file will redact the applicant's name, location, and unique identifier so that no one at the Lottery Corporation knows who is being selected at the draw time. At this point, the Lottery Corporation is in charge of the random drawing process. Throughout this process, both the Lottery Corporation and the Office of Medical Cannabis will maintain a chain of custody to record the possession and transfer of these files. Terry Sebastian, Director of Communications and Public Relations at the Lottery Corporation, will narrate exactly what is taking place while the Lottery Corporation is conducting the process, and I will provide additional commentary throughout. After each of these lotteries has taken place, the Lottery Corporation will return the de-identified files indicating those numbers that were selected in the lottery to the Office of Legal Services, who will then re-identify the files, indicating on the identified list those applicants corresponding to the numbers selected. The identified files with the selectees indicated will be provided to myself. We will verify the selectees and upload them to your screen and announce them. This entire process will be filmed for your viewing, and at this time, I will turn it over to Terry, and we will begin the lottery process. Thanks, Terry.
Good afternoon. Thanks, Sam. Welcome back to the Kentucky Lottery. We want to thank Governor Beshear and his administration to help build and implement Kentucky's medical cannabis program. Now, the governor asked the Kentucky Lottery to hold these drawings for our draw integrity. And these drawings are what we do on a daily basis, each and every day, 365 days a year. And today, you will see the same draw process that you saw during the October 28th and November 25th drawings for the medical cannabis. In the draw studio today are 3 longtime employees who will be conducting the drawings. Ingram Quick, Vice President of Internal Audit, Beth Wheeler, Security Draw Manager, and joining us today, Rachel Herod, Manager of Corporate Security. Sam and I will give step-by-step information as the draws occur, like we did in the October 28th and November 25th drawings. So with that being said, I will turn it back over to Sam Flynn, Office of Medical Cannabis, to start the file transfer. Thank you.
Thank you, Terry. At this point, my office will begin the process of transferring over the identified files of the eligible applicants for each category to the Office of Legal Services. As you can see, Deputy Executive Director Scotty McFarland is currently and signed over custody of those hard copy files to Blake Vogt, Deputy Counsel for the Office of Legal Services. The files contain, again, the name of the applicant, its county and city location, and unique numerical identifier. The file is numbered 1 through however many applicants are going to be in the drawing. Applicants are listed in a random order set by the cabinet so that no one knows which applicant is associated with which number in the file. Blake will provide a copy of the de-identified version of the records to from the Office of Legal Services, and he'll sign those over through a chain of custody document to the Manager of Security for the Lottery Corporation, who I believe is receiving that now. And it's important to note that the file is de-identified again for security purposes so that no one at the Lottery Corporation or anywhere else knows which applicant is associated with each number. The de-identified version of the file will redact, again, the applicant's name, location, and unique identifier so that no one here knows who's being selected. And it appears that the chain of custody document is being signed and is being transferred over to the Lottery Corporation. At this point, the Lottery Corporation is in charge of the random drawing process.
So what you'll see now is our Manager of Corporate Security, Rachel Herod. She is taking in the document to our draw studio where Ingram Quick and Beth Wheeler, who will be conducting the draws today, are going through the information. Once they have reviewed the information, they will select one of the two draw machines you see there on the right. They choose these by rolling a die. Even or odd will choose which machine. These machines are locked. They will break the seal on the machines. Once they do that, they will log in their security credentials, and then they will start the first drawing for Dispensary Region 1 or Bluegrass. So while we're waiting on that, Sam, why don't you talk a little bit about the Kentuckiana and Bluegrass regions?
Sure. So the Kentuckiana and Bluegrass regions are two of the regions that have our largest population centers. So Region 1 is the Bluegrass region, contains Fayette County, Lexington area, and a lot of large population counties surrounding it. The Kentuckiana region is that county surrounding it. The Kentuckiana region is that Louisville and Collier counties region that we're currently in at the moment. So the Louisville region, obviously our largest city and largest population center. Also the area where we received the most applicants. Those two regions received about 40% of the dispensary applications in total, a little over 1,200 applications there. Now, because we are focused on access, we have dispensary licensing regions. Each region gets 4, but these two regions are a little special because of those large populations. So Jefferson County and Fayette County will get 2 dispensaries, and again, that's due in large part because of the population. And then those counties that surround Jefferson County and Fayette County will each get 4. So we'll have a total of 4 draws today. 12 licenses will be issued for that. We're really excited about the numbers that we saw today as well. Really great approval rate throughout these counties. I think 85% in total for the Bluegrass region. A little bit lower in Kentucky, and about 77% got in there. Fayette County had a very high number, about 315 applications in total, and then really large numbers, which shouldn't be surprising, of applications ultimately in Jefferson County with 484. The best numbers in terms of sort of our pass rate was in those counties surrounding Bluegrass, and that's just for today. I'm not referring to any of our past drawings, but they had about a 94% pass rate in those counties, about 276 in there. So again, very excited, very high pass rate. Also very excited about the number of folks that were able to correct their applications and ultimately were successful in curing. One of the things that we were looking toward doing when we built the program and designed our cure period was giving people really an opportunity, because we're all doing this together for the first time, giving them an opportunity to correct any slight mistakes that they may have had in their applications. And we're really happy that many of them ultimately did. In fact, the vast majority of them did. And it looks like they're pulling up the numbers now for Region 1. That's the Bluegrass region. And this is the county surrounding Fayette County. And the numbers for that region are 17, 91, 76, and 227. And I'll read that again. It's 17, 91, 76, and 227.
So our draw team now will certify those results. They will both sign off on that drawing. They will set it aside. And they will then begin the drawing, our second drawing for the day, which is for Fayette County. So tell us a little bit about Fayette County and give us some updates on the Kentucky Medical Cannabis Program.
Sure. So Fayette County, 315 applications in total, 241 of them are in, so about a 77% pass rate. They're a little bit lower than some of the other regions, so 74 were ultimately denied from that region. And again, this is right in the heart of the state of Kentucky, right there in Fayette County. They'll have 2 that will be drawn today for this county. And I appreciate the question about what's going on with the medical cannabis program, because we've got a lot of exciting pieces that we can report. First, that we've completed licensing on cultivators and processors. It's a huge step forward in our program. Ultimately, as the governor noted, we want to make sure that medical cannabis can get to the folks who need it at the soonest possible date. And this certainly getting folks licensed, moving up that time frame, is allowing us to do that. I'll note that had we been operating under the prior law, we wouldn't even be able to start receiving applications until January 1st of 2025. So we're finishing out that process 2 weeks before certainly we would have even been able to start under the prior law. So I want to thank the governor and the General Assembly for their leadership on that. We're also in the process of completing licensing for safety compliance facilities. We had about 4 or 5 more applications. If folks may recall that we reopened applications for safety compliance facilities. That's the testing labs, and no drawings for those because there's an unlimited number. We're very excited that folks have taken the opportunity to apply, and we're working through those applications currently and look forward to having some answers and new licensees in that front. The two numbers for Fayette County are 66 and 198. And I'll say that again, 66 and 198.
So Beth and Ingram, they will sign off on this draw and verify it. They will set those aside, and then they will start the next drawing, which is our third draw for Dispensary Region 2, which is the Kentuckiana. Again, tell us a little bit about this region and maybe what's next for the medical cannabis program.
Sure. So the Kentuckiana region is really those counties that are surrounding Jefferson County, so Oldham, Shelby, et cetera. We received 143 applications, so a little bit lower number there. 129 of those were approved, so 90% pass rate, really great pass rate for the Kentuckiana region. And, we've really got a lot going on with the program currently. So our practitioner directory went live on December 1st. And that allows for folks to find an authorized registered practitioner nearest them. And we're pleased to report that we have over 230 practitioners currently registered in the Commonwealth, and about another 108 that are authorized and we're trying to get registered currently. So really great for access for patients throughout the Commonwealth. Very handy tool. Folks can go online, enter their county or their city or their zip code, and find a practitioner nearest them. If folks are practitioners, we have a set of webinars. We're actually having one later this week. If folks are interested and want to learn more about the Kentucky Medical Cannabis Program and provide that access for our folks here in Kentucky, they can do that. They can register at kymedcan.ky.gov. We've also opened for written certifications on December 1st. So those practitioners have actually started writing certifications in the Commonwealth. We've received over 1,500 of those. They're all done electronically. So a lot of great interest throughout the Commonwealth, and that's been done just in the first 15 days. So just under 100 Kentuckians are getting their written certification each day. So a lot of excitement around the program as we move towards that January 1st launch date. And it's hard to believe that it's already here. And we're very excited about that. And as we move forward, we know that folks are going to have questions. And it looks like we've got our numbers for the Kentuckiana region. Terry, the numbers for Kentuckiana, that's Region 2, are 70, 62, 14, and 40. I'll say that again, 70, 62, 14, and 40.
So now Beth and Ingram will verify those results. They will sign those. They will set them off to the side, and I will ask them to start the final drawing for today, which is Jefferson County. And so while we wait for Jefferson County, Sam, talk a little bit about how folks can become cardholders.
Sure. So as I mentioned, folks are starting to get those written certifications from their physician or APRN who's authorized and registered to write those in the Commonwealth. They're all done electronically. Folks can go to their physician or APRN if they're registered and authorized get that written certification on January 1st or thereafter, apply for a medical cannabis card. They need that written certification. That's the first piece. They'll need a notarized signature page, very important. They cannot have a disqualifying felony offense, and all the information on disqualifying felony offenses is available at kymedcan.ky.gov in our resources page, so folks can go there if they have any questions about that. Folks will need to pay a $25 application fee, and the card is good for 1 year. No, folks will have lots of questions. Our website is a great resource. We're also starting our patient outreach. We're going to have one webinar per month starting in January. I think it's January 15th. Over 2,000 people have already signed up for that. We certainly encourage people that are interested to go sign up for the webinar, learn more about the program. We're really excited about actually speaking with the patients, folks that have questions about how they get their card, how they access our portal, and we're there to walk them through the steps. We'll also be launching on January 1st a call center, so if folks have any questions whatsoever, they can call in, get a live person on the phone who will walk them through the process from beginning to end on how to become a medical cannabis card holder in Kentucky. Very, very excited about that. And you know, with this, and it looks like our numbers are up for Jefferson County, and the numbers are 302 and 140. And I'll say that again, it's 302 and 140.
So with those, our draw team will sign off on the last drawing for Jefferson County. Our draw team will now begin to close out the draw process. And what you will see as them handing over the numbers, and our manager of corporate security, Rachel Herod, she will sign a chain of custody. She will deliver those numbers to the Cabinet for Health and Family Services here very shortly, and she will sign a chain of custody document as she hands it over to the Cabinet. Once this is complete, this closes out the Kentucky Lottery's portion of the December 16th medical cannabis drawings for dispensary regions 1 and 2 in Jefferson and Fayette counties. So I will turn it over to you, Sam, for the state to take it from here.
Thank you so much. So as you mentioned, the de-identified results are back in the custody of the Cabinet for Health and Family Services. Blake Vogt, the Deputy Executive Director, is currently re-identifying those results. And once he has completed that process, which shouldn't take too long, he will sign over custody to the Office of Medical Cannabis. The file he's about to turn over will again re-identify the list of selectees with their number, their application number, their business name, county, and city. And it looks like he is signing those over currently. And the folks in the Office of Medical Cannabis, Scotty McFarland, who is our Deputy Executive Director, and Malaya Rivers, will validate those results, make sure that everything is correct. And once they provide those to me, I will return them to the Lottery Corporation lobby, where the governor and I will announce the results. And I should have that in one moment. I did want to take a brief moment first to thank the Lottery Corporation for all of their assistance in this process. It's been about 8 or 9 months now that we've been working together, and a lot goes into putting on these kinds of processes, certainly intergovernmental cooperation, and we really appreciate the assistance. This is certainly a model for other states and something that we're very, very proud of, and we certainly hear a lot of good things from executive directors in other states about this process and about the Lottery Corporation generally. Also want to take an opportunity to talk about my team a little bit. The folks that have truly built this medical cannabis program, laser focused on ensuring that patients have access at the soonest possible date. These folks worked nights, they worked weekends, they worked holidays to ensure that the 4,998 applications that we received were processed in a timely and thorough way, multiple layers of review to make sure that we were getting this right. A year ago, we had a staff of 3 people. No organizational structure, no budget, no regulations had been filed yet, no IT systems in place. Today, all of those pieces are in place. We're moving forward towards January 1st, truly when medical cannabis is lawful to possess in the Commonwealth and when people can start applying for their medical cannabis card. So we're again, and I know I've said this multiple times, but we're very excited about where we are as a program, where we are as a state, and certainly we will be working with businesses, and that's really the next step in this process, is working with the businesses who have been selected to get them up and operational at the soonest possible date. And to do that, we'll be having a new business licensee orientation, and we'll be working hand in glove with each of the new licensees to make sure that they're following all the rules. Because as the governor has noted, we want to make sure that this is done securely, that it's done safely, that it's done right in all of our communities. And with that, I think we have the results, and I will take that.
All right. I want to once again thank the Kentucky Lottery for their professionalism, for a system that is fair, that has been transparent. Very grateful for their services. All right, with that, this is our final lottery, at least of the initial launch. Our hope is that certainly there will be additional conditions added later in the future, whereby other Kentuckians will have access to treat chronic or difficult conditions, if that's the case, and or we see more people qualifying than the initial projections suggested. That will give us an opportunity to expand this medical cannabis program. All right, so the winners for dispensaries. First, of Region 1 Bluegrass, these are the counties surrounding Fayette, but not including Fayette. Start with lottery number 17, applicant 5575, Kentucky Ventures LLC in Franklin County. Lottery number 91, applicant 4470, Gary Court, Madison County. Lottery number 76, applicant 4632, Roger Hujandy K. In Madison County. Remember, only one will be able to go in any individual county. So if I read Madison twice, it means that the second one will have to go to a different county in that region. And the third, lottery number 227, applicant 1796, Thrive Blue LLC in Scott County. All right, for dispensary region 1, these are the Fayette County only 2 dispensaries. Lottery number 66, applicant 3887, DHK KY LLC. Second one is lottery number 198, applicant 1907, Zenleaf Inc. For the Region 2 Kentuckiana, these are the counties surrounding but not including Jefferson County. The 4 winners are lottery number 70, applicant 2837, DNP-DHKY LLC. It lists Bullitt County. Lottery number 62, applicant 2870, Kentucky Pristine Vistas LLC. Also lists Bullitt County, will not be able to be in Bullitt County. We'll have to select another surrounding county. Lottery number 14, applicant 4416, DJSKY LLC in Shelby County. And the last one, which also lists Bullitt County, which will also have to be in a different county, is lottery number 40, number 2963, Pinnacle Path LLC. All right, and finally, for Region 2 Kentuckiana, Jefferson County only, lottery number 302, applicant 1753, Chungwoo Kim LLC, and number 140, applicant 4096, Upward Innovations. Those are our final winners in the lottery. I'll turn it over to Sam Flynn to provide some final comments, and then we'll take some questions. But I want to thank him for his leadership. I'm sure in the questions we'll be able to talk about this process and how we have learned from other processes around the country, and how I believe that the process that we have followed ultimately has put the patient first and will get them the medicine, the product they need faster than just about in any other state, given how our legal framework was set up. Sam?
Thank you, Governor. And I'd like to thank the Governor again, and the Office of the Governor, Secretary Friedlander, and all the members of Team Kentucky who made the lottery possible today. For our selectees, you'll be receiving an email notification and the Governor for any questions you all may have. Thank you.
For those counties that have duplicate awardees.
So for any county that has duplicate awardees, the first one drawn goes to that county. So we had 3 in Bullitt County. The second 2 will have to choose other counties in that region, obviously different counties surrounding Jefferson County.
These that have, yes, opened and incorporated farmers who are very unhappy about how this has played out. They feel like they should have been given some kind of priority. And yes, you've mentioned the lawsuits and wanting to do this quickly. However, we've been told that none of these licensees selected in the cultivator process have any infrastructure in place, and it could be months, potentially even 2026, before there's actually product out on the market here. Is there any thought to issuing any type of emergency license to people who are proven, that have the infrastructure, that are already growing here in the state, so people can get the medication they need sooner?
So as we look at what has caused delays in other states, it's not those issues. What we have seen in other states are lawsuits when states have tried to favor only in-state companies that have not run a lottery like this. There's been at least one state that has been enjoined for over 2 years that they have their legislation in place, but for 2 full years, they can't even run the end of the selection process or the rest. For us, it was about putting the patient first. And we had to make a decision. You know, do we put the patient first? And if so, we design a system that will have the fewest likely successful challenges on the lawsuit side, or do we put other groups first? So certainly to get this up and running, I wanted to put the veterans suffering from PTSD first. Now, as we move into the future, once we have the program up and running, we may try to see if, for instance, when we expand cultivators, which I think we'll need to, if we can try to help those Kentucky hemp farmers, because if we do, and if we're enjoined by a court, then we still have a supply that is already here. But the way the law was set up, being able to bring in the saplings or the plants to help grow it out, I think that there was some foresight and forethought in how to do that, and that this way we'll have product on the shelf significantly earlier than a system that would have been challenged, and we've seen it challenged in virtually every other state. We believe that this is the furthest in the process that we've seen virtually any state go without a lawsuit at all, and without a successful lawsuit to at least delay it.
Governor, would you welcome a full audit of the process and all the applicants involved? We're talking about nearly
Sure, you can watch it. We've been fully transparent. The question is, if you have the laws on the books and everybody's seen them and everybody has approved the regulations ahead of time, and you use a group like the Kentucky Lottery Corporation and you televise the whole thing, the question is, what is there to ultimately audit when the transparency and the rules were there in the very beginning?
Is there a possibility that some of these LLCs are connected in some way, that you can dig into the finances?
Well, what we've done, so if we change the rules late in the game, then you get the lawsuits, the delay, and the patients don't get the product that they need.
Governor, are there any concerns, and this was brought up to us
Yeah.
in the first round, of businesses that have backed several of these dispensaries? Are there concerns that might be the case with this 14 drawn today?
We'll see. I mean, what I think you've seen are companies that may provide management services, but they've been clear, and we've been able to look at the documentation, that they do not own these companies. So again, each of these companies are owned by separate individuals. Now, who they contract with to ultimately bring their services to Kentucky and what type of expertise those companies may have is a little bit different of a question. But what we have seen is that we believe everybody who's licensed has met all of the rules that were set up ahead of time. Now, if we look at future expansions and we look at which of those rules we may want to change a little bit or what we may want to safeguards in the background, we've created a whole office that oversees this. They have inspectors that are going to be out. Each of these are now a Kentucky company that has to operate here. Their employees are going to be here. Their cultivation is going to be here. The dispensaries are going to be here. The processing is going to be here. So these are new Kentucky companies that are going to have plenty of regulators and inspectors to make sure they're doing it right.
Are there concerns over a change of ownership down the road with some of these licenses being sold?
I believe that there are legal means to ultimately change the ownership. Again, that was within the law and within the regulations ahead of time.
You mentioned the size of the market, Governor, and that you think it's going to be smaller than some people are anticipating.
To start.
Some of these groups that a lot of us have reported on, such as Dark Horse Cannabis out of Arkansas and a parent company called Arcana, we have obtained investment documents that flat out say that they have a cultivator license, they have a processor license, they were anticipating getting dispensary licenses, and that their goal is to control a significant part of this market to drive up profits for their shareholders. They're a business, understandable, but we're talking about medication and people. So what would your message be to those companies that in their own documentation have talked about this?
Well, the companies don't have ownership of these specific Kentucky, well, either they're wrong or a false ultimate application was submitted. Now, we think they've come out with a statement since. Sam?
Thank you, Governor. I'm familiar with the documentation that you say that you've looked at. That documentation specifically spells out that they have acquired management services agreements and contracts with these businesses. They have clarified that they do not own any of these licensees. So just want to be very clear, they do not own any of these licensees. These are management agreements, just like any kind of professional service agreement that a business may have with a law firm, a consulting firm, or what have you.
Governor, you say the product needs to be grown in Kentucky. Is there any product currently being grown?
Well, there's an ability to bring in, is saplings the right?
Seedlings.
There's an ability to bring in seedlings, which is going to help it to be grown faster in Kentucky. Certainly our cultivators have now been licensed for, about a month? And I know are working as quickly as they can towards that. And there's at least one cultivator that was Kentucky-based before any and all of this. I was actually talking to one of their relatives today, and they are working as hard and as fast as they can to get this ready for market. Basically, originally, if you remember, none of this was going to be allowed until January 1st. We were going to be here on January 1st, just figuring out who'd have the opportunity to do it. Actually, the applications could only be taken on January 1st. So we got it moved back about 6 months, and that's given us a big head start. But certainly it's going to take a little bit of time to ultimately get the dispensaries open and to get that product there.
Governor, on the note of speed to patient, you've talked a lot about wanting to be able to have it available as quickly as possible. What is the reality of it actually being available to patients on January 1st? And additionally, you've mentioned that you suspect that we'll see more need for cultivators and other pieces along the line. What will determine if we do take those steps to get more licenses?
So the executive order will remain in effect that ultimately protects people from prosecution that have one of these conditions and ultimately now have to go to another state to get it like they are right now until these dispensaries come online. So we'll leave those protections in place so individuals are able to get the help they need. I think that there are two things that could lead to an expansion of these programs. Number one is that more people qualify and sign up, and we're able to track that right now, than initial projections, which are based on other states. But the second one, and one that I would really like to see, is an expansion of the conditions for which you qualify for being able to use medical marijuana. There are a number of conditions that are excluded in Kentucky that are included in other states where I think a lot of people could get relief. And if we're able to do the speed to ultimately getting to the patients that we started out this whole process laser focused on.
Governor,
Yeah.
this could be for either one of you. We've gotten a lot of emails, not necessarily about this process here today. People have said that this is variations for how transparency can be improved upon or prioritized even further for those concerns in a future round of applications.
Well, I certainly think that we can always work on transparency. I think this has been the most transparent system that we've seen in the country thus far, and how we go about doing this. Now, the question, especially under open records, is when something becomes an open record, and what would happen in the process to the business interests that are out there. But certainly, we can always
Work with doing this, that maybe, like he was talking about, maybe auditing to prevent people from having this concern in the first place, to allow people to maybe monitor throughout. Is that
So the only, I guess the criticism that's been brought up is about the idea that a management company could potentially team with and or ultimately contract with a number of different owners. Now, you could say that's problematic. You could also say that they bring significant experience that may get this to the market and get it faster. You'd have to look at a system that was all of this together. The goal was for everybody to see exactly how the process would work, to have set rules that folks met, and to make sure that we weren't held up a year, 2 years, or that had some provisions in place that understandably some Kentucky companies are now talking about. They were enjoined by the courts for significant periods of time. Some of them are still going through it. And if we had to decide in the beginning, I wanted that veteran suffering from PTSD to get the help they need. All right. One more?
It's December 16th.
Yeah.
I hate to keep bringing up the timeline, but it seems like, we're pretty close to January 1st right now. What realistically, when do you think Kentucky patients can get access to Kentucky product?
Yeah, let us check with the cultivators and others. They've been going through the licensing process. There's still the inspection process. Even if you think about a dispensary, there's going to be an inspection process before it opens, because our commitment was to do this safely and to set up a system that will operate safely. So it's my hope that we'll see it in Q1 of next year, product on the shelf, but we're going to make sure, given the executive order is still in place, and now people can go to Ohio, especially pretty easily, which was a little more complicated before, and people were going to other states, just making sure we get it right, and that each and every one of these facilities, when they open, is legitimate, has been inspected, that we know that they're going to do this right, and that they know that we are actively monitoring their operations. All right, thank you all very much.
How long do these businesses have to relocate if they're in the same county?
Okay, let's answer that.
Yep, thank you for the question. So the question was how long they have to relocate. That's actually provided in guidance. There's a guidance document that's provided in the resources at kymedcan.ky.gov on the businesses page. It's from June 28th. It'll walk you through every single thing you have to know about how the businesses, and in that instance, if multiple dispensaries are selected for one county, the first one gets to stay, the remainder have to move to another jurisdiction. With respect to
All right, y'all. So
on our website, there are regulatory requirements for how a business.
See a little bit the behind the scenes when it comes to that lottery system. They keep saying fair and transparent, of course. Governor Beshear also addressed a few of the concerns from reporters about the equity behind the lottery system. A lot of diving, dodging. It is. Unfortunately, Governor Beshear is a politician, and that's what politicians do. But it's just been interesting watching it develop as this lottery system has gone on. There's going to be a lot of people reporting on this, as you could tell from those questions. We're going to get some clips up on an Instagram of this live stream Keep pushing, see what we can find out. But again, Joe Sanka from LPM, John Charlton from WHAS, Elijah Rosenbaum from Bluegrass Canna Podcast, some of the articles that have been written so far, so make sure you go and check those out. Most of them have been shared on the Facebook page for Riot Heart, so go and find them. All right, in other news, tonight there's going to be a info session about the consent decree that was signed between the Louisville Metro and the Department of Justice. This is to address the pattern of civil rights violations within LMPD. That consent decree is 250 pages long, so a whole lot to read, but the DOJ is going to host an info session tonight at 7:30. We will be re-airing that. If you have questions, you can send them to this email link that we have on a previous post. I can't remember it offhand. And send it directly to them so that they are able to address those questions, or you can hop into their webinar and ask directly. If you just want to watch, you can come and watch our stream. So a little bit of differentiation there. But we're going to go ahead and get out of here. Appreciate y'all tuning in. Until next time, everybody stay strong, stay safe.